Welcome to a beautiful fall day here in Italy. We are here with our van Miles, which we love, and we think we made some pretty good decisions and implemented some pretty good features in our van. I'm gonna share them with you, and hopefully you can be inspired and maybe you want to implement some of them in your own van. We have a fixed bed in our van and we simply love it, because that makes it possible to have several spaces in the van, which means that one person can go back here or one can be up front if we need some private time. It also means that one person can wake up in the morning and start the day while the other one is sound asleep. And thirdly, the most important feature of this fixed bed is that we don't need to make it before we start driving. We can just wake up and basically swivel our seats and go. One of my absolute favorite features of this van build is this wall right here. This wall is a multi-purpose wall, if you can call it that. First off, it shades from rain or all kinds of weather because, you know, it's a wall. So when you open the doors, there's no rain coming into our bed. Secondly, bookshelf, we have some space for an iPad or a MacBook, a water bottle. It's super neat because then we don't have to have all the stuff lying around in our bed. We keep this area free. Also, we get to bring some books on the road. And if books weren't enough, on the other side of this one is more storage. Here we hang all our gear like helmets, we have jackets there, we have chairs there, we have yoga mats, we have our moonshade. There are tons of stuff. It enables us to really bring a lot more stuff on the road. Plus, if it's wet, we don't need to bring it into the van. We can just hang it on the other side of this wall. One of the things we prioritized really hard making this van was the storage space. And we have a lot of it. And it's amazing. One of the things is this cabinet, for example. It is huge. You can get so much stuff in here. We also have tons of storage space in the kitchen, above the driver and passengers area, and also in the garage, and also back with the beds. One of the most discussed feature of any van, I think, is the bathroom or the toilet. Should you have a toilet? Should you have a bathroom? Should you have a fixed bathroom and a fixed shower? We opted for a fixed bathroom. And the reason why is sort of two or maybe even threefold. First off, it's nice to have the van divided into different zones. That means that you can get a little bit of privacy. Secondly, when you travel around in a van, you probably like to be outdoors. If you're like us and you like to be outdoors, that means that you get sweaty, maybe even get muddy or really dirty as well. Then it's really nice to just be able to take a shower, get that sweat off, feel a bit fresh again. Or if you're full of mud or it's been pouring down with rain, you have somewhere to store your clothes while they're drying. They're not laying around in the van, in your bed, in your seats. They're actually just in here and they can dry up nicely in their own space. Thirdly, it's the most obvious one. It is super nice when you're off the grid not to be hunting for a bathroom or a toilet or a shower all the time. You just simply have it in your van. In this van, we have two Max Air Deluxe fans. We have one in the front and one in the back. The reason why is because we need some airflow going on in this van. And this works perfectly with two fans. We can have it in and we can have it out. Also, another great feature of it is that we have one placed almost directly over our kitchen, meaning over our cooktop. That means that all that humid air just can go straight out of the fan. In addition to that, our bathroom isn't far away either, which means that when we shower, we can get the humid air from the shower out through the Max fan up front. The Max fan that we have in the back over our bed is perfect when we have hot summer nights in the van. We have our diesel heater down here. That means that we get hot air just pumped into the van, and then it circulates really nice and neatly out here, so we get a cool area in the bed. One of the things that Tobias and I worked really hard on figuring out in this van was how to maximize our countertops. So we have one countertop here, or it's a table really. We have one table here, we have one here, we of course have the kitchen countertop, and then we have my all-time favorite, this one. This means that when you cook, you have tons of different space to cook on, and one person can actually work at our dining table at the same time. We have a flip down table outside. Early on in our build phase, Tobias and I decided we wanted a pretty badass electrical setup. Therefore, we opted for a normal 230 volt fridge. We ended up buying one from IKEA, and we quickly understood that that would not be compatible with our van. Therefore, we changed it to a 12 volt from Dometic instead, which is one of the best decisions that we've made with this van. The reasons are many. First off, this fridge, it is made to be in moving vehicles, whether it be a van or a boat. Secondly, the space is way better utilized than with an IKEA fridge, which is actually pretty much the same size. And thirdly, this runs on 12 volt, not 230 volt. We would have had the battery capacity to run at 230 volt, but the thing is that we had to run our inverters all the time, which consumes a lot of energy. Therefore, a 12 volt is way more energy efficient because we can just hook it up to a 12 volt grid without using our inverters. We also opted for a 140 liter fridge from Dometic. This is the largest one of the smaller ones in a way. For us, this is a perfect size. We can fit in quite a lot of food. We also have a small freezer. We like to be off the grid for about 4 to 6 days, so this keeps us going for days and days. As you can see, we have an induction cooktop in our van, and there are several reasons for that. First off, we are used to cooking with electricity. That's what you do in Norway. So we're not used to cooking with gas, so for us, this made a lot of sense. Secondly, having gas, it takes up a lot of space, and we want to save as much space as we possibly can, so reducing that really helped us. Thirdly, having gas in the van creates a lot of humidity when you burn it, so we want to reduce the amount of humidity in the van, so that also made a lot of sense. Fourth, propane or gas, it is a fire hazard, and we want to reduce the amount of fire hazards that we have in our van, so to us it made a lot of sense to not have gas. And lastly, if you have kids or pets in your van, an induction cooktop is not warm on touch, which means that the potential of burning yourself is significantly reduced. And plus, the last one, I do think it looks a lot better than a gas stove. One of the last minute decisions that we made before we hit the road was actually to upgrade our speakers and our radio right here. That means that we changed out our speakers in order to get better sound, and we also changed this radio. We didn't really know if we would have a great impact, but we read a lot of stuff about it that it would have a good impact, so we decided to spend a little bit of extra money on actually doing that, and it's been a game changer. The sound is, I don't know how many percentage improved, it's probably like doubled, tripled, whatever. The sound is so much better. You can actually hear what people are saying, which is quite the upgrade. Also, we can now navigate while we're driving, which really enhances our driving experience, and I would say it increases our chances of actually finding the roads we need to go on by maybe 50%, 100%. One of the key things that you should think about when you're building your van is multi-purpose. Everything should be used for several things. That means also the passenger and driver's seat. And that is why we installed swivel seats on both the driver's seat and the passenger seat. I've seen a lot of vans that just have it on one of the seats, but for us, having it on both actually enables us to swivel it. It opens up the space so much, and we can use it for dining, or we can use it for working or watching a movie or whatever else that we might want to do. One of the more expensive features of this van is our electrical setup. We decided to spend quite a bit of money on it because we knew we would get tons of worth for that. Therefore, we have 3 200 amp hour lithium batteries, which means that we have in total 600 amp hours, and we have 2 inverters to go with it. One inverter is 3000 watts and the other one is 2000 watts. The reason why is because the 3000 watt inverter goes to our induction cooktop, our 2000 watt inverter goes with our water boiler. But we also have 230 outlets, several places in the van, which means that we can actually, because of the divided setup, we can actually cook and we can make coffee, we can charge our computers or our cameras at the same time, which is pretty genius. And we of course also have 12 volts outlets several places, so we can charge basically wherever you are in the van whenever you want to. This is great because it means that you don't really need to think about that you have limited electricity. You can use the outlets and use the power almost as if you were living in a house. One of the things that we take really seriously and that we decided to splurge a little bit on is safety. That means that we have extra locks on all our doors on the outside and also on the inside. And these aren't like the locks that sometimes you see on YouTube that you can just like hammer off in 2 seconds. These are actually mechanic. They come with specific keys that you can't copy. So they are super safe. Can't even get the key out. An amazing thing that we built in our van was actually this bike tray. This bike tray holds both of our enduro bikes safe and sound inside our van. We love this because that means that we don't get a lot of attention when we're driving around. The bikes are inside here safe and sound if we leave the van or when we go to sleep. So for us, this was a genius addition to our build. As you understand, we love our van, but there are a couple of things that maybe aren't exactly perfect. So check out this video if you want to see our greatest regrets building our van, or this video if you want a complete van tour. I really hope that we will see you around. Bye!